evening, YouTube. It seems that a third VTuber has hit the VShojo tower, and it is none other than Mrs. Ironmouse herself, beloved Twitch connoisseur, one of the biggest sweethearts in the VTubing scene, has raised more money for charity than most other VTubers have, and unfortunately, today is the day where she has decided to leave VShojo. So there are some big allegations going on why exactly Ironmouse has left VShojo. Before we get into the video, apparently she claims, again, this is all just a claim, we don't have any solid proof yet, that VShojo has stolen or misappropriated up to $500,000 worth of funds to the charities that she raises for. Obviously, this is all unsubstantiated. We don't know what's going on yet. I'm hoping some more information is going to come out of this as of the next few days. But let's just get into the video. Oh, and allegedly they also owe her a lot of money as well. So, and if you're new here, I would appreciate a like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell for all notifications. And let's just get into it. Let's see what Miss Ironmouse has to say.
Unfortunately, I recently found out that for the past couple of months, I have been misled by VShojo with the
and who is surprised, right? We've known VShojo has been a very bad talent agency for the last few years. I know Zentreya recently left VShojo, and another big VTubing name. They left because they weren't happy with how the agency was being ran. We saw this. We saw the classic misrepresentation and misrunning of these companies. We saw Niji-san a few months ago where they basically imploded overnight. And with Ironmouse leaving, with her being basically the face of VShojo at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they were screwed. And this is the last that we see of VShojo. I mark my words, by end of the year, I think they're going to be completely gone.
Information that I currently have, I believe that I am owed a significant amount of funds, which I have not been paid. And most importantly, the thing that hurts me the most...
Silvervale, Vey, and Nanners all left VShojo? Holy... I didn't realize it was that many people. Yeah, that's a death knell if I've ever heard one.
...is that the Immune Deficiency Foundation, which is the most important charity to me, and also the reason why I'm here today, is owed over $500,000.
Yeah, so the immunodeficiency charity, for those who aren't aware, Ironmouse is immuno, I think, basically compromised or something. But she basically literally can't leave her room because she has an autoimmune disease or something, from my understanding. I don't know exactly for sure, but it is along those lines. And every year she raises money for this specific charity to help people like her, because she has the ailment, and she wants to raise funds for other people that have the ailment as well. So it is a very honorable cause, and to see a company misappropriate or hold up to $500,000 of funds that she has raised for the charity is just unacceptable.
VShojo. I know that this is a lot, and it's very important for me to be honest with all of you. I really want to tell you everything, but unfortunately right now, I have been instructed by my attorney to wait for more of the legal procedure to unfold. So one day I will be able to tell you the full story.
And here's the thing that people just don't really understand, right? Legalese and the court system and the court process, it takes so incredibly long for anything to happen. That's why every time something happens, you'll see these people on Twitter and the likes be like, "Oh, why didn't you just talk about it? Why didn't you talk about this earlier? Well, why don't you let us know more what's going on?" Because they literally can't. Because anything that they say out of turn on Twitter or on their stream could affect the case negatively, more negatively than positively. And the lawyers will always tell you, shut your mouth, just let us handle everything, don't say anything while it happens behind the scenes, and we will take care of it. You have all these Twitter idiots who go on and want to be their keyboard warriors. Where's the proof? Talk about it more. No, that's just not how it works.
But for now, I just need to let you know that I will no longer be a part of VShojo. If you give me a moment of your time, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I know for a lot of people right now that this might be the first time you're ever watching me. I became a VTuber because I really wanted to make friends. I was very lonely due to the fact that I have a primary immune deficiency disease called CVID. I
That's it.
basically have a low to near non functioning immune system,
Okay.
which means I get sick a lot, and it caused me to remain isolated for long periods of my life.
That's
So then I found
incredibly sad.
streaming, and I thought about giving it a try because I wanted to see if I could make some friends online because I honestly couldn't ever leave my room.
Hmm.
I never really expected to grow an
Yeah, so she literally, like, she can't leave her house for extended periods of time because her immune system is just that bad.
audience or anything. It was one of the last things on my mind. I just thought that I would stream to, 5 to 10 people and just hang out from time to time, make some friends, play games, and just continue on with my
Hmm.
life. But unfortunately, I was too scared to stream with my face. So a friend of mine recommended that I try an app called FaceRig that would allow me to
Oh
use an
man,
anime
face rig.
avatar
What
to
a
stream.
throwback. I
And
haven't
that's
heard face
how I
rig in
started
years.
VTubing. It took me a while to take it seriously and even begin to think about maybe being able to grow a community and even make this a career. I think I really started to take it seriously around the time when I was approached to join VShojo, and it was through VShojo that I was able to grow into the Ironmouse that I am today.
Hmm.
When I was approached in 2020 and
Yeah, I'm sure they've done a lot of good things when it comes to helping her and growing her as a VTuber throughout the years. But unfortunately, none of that means anything if they were actively stealing funds or misappropriating funds. And here's another part that I think a lot of people fail to realize. And this isn't an accusation. This is more of an observation and more of like some theory crafting, right? Um, I wouldn't be surprised if more and more funds were either lost or misappropriated when it comes to their talent, right? When you have these big talents that they have tens of 20s of thousands of views and like live viewers at a time, Ironmouse has 1.3 million subscribers. I wouldn't be surprised if these companies were ever skimming money off of the top. These any talent agency, you can never be 100% sure if the talent agency you are working for is not skimming money off of the top of what they owe you. This is an accusation. This is more of an observation, because it's like how do you know as the talent, right? How do you know what's going on because you're not involved with any of the contract or discussions. You're not even seeing most of the contracts half the time. You're just signing things. Oh, here they tell you to sign this. Here, go sign it. And this could probably be going on for years. And when it comes down to these companies that are willing to hold money and not give where money is due, it really starts to draw into account their just their overall business practices. If they're going to steal $500,000 from her, who knows what they've done without her knowing in the past? And it really just calls into question the last few years of like the relationship with them.
asked to join VShojo, it seemed like a good idea, but I
I'm not
honestly
sure,
did
Otter.
not know if I could ever be a corporal VTuber because I felt like I just couldn't. In my mind, I saw myself as unhireable, which is why streaming worked for me. I had no boss, no strict rules, I had no hours, no expectations. It was all up to me, and
Mhm.
due to the fact that I have lived my life chronically ill and being unable to do much of anything, I just felt
It really this really fucks me up because you can hear the pain in her voice. You can hear she is on the verge of absolute tears.
like there was no way that anyone would ever take me or want me. For a while, I was struggling to make a decision because I was afraid about my anonymity and afraid about trusting people
Hmm.
because I felt like every time I put my trust in people, it always ends in grief for me. So
Yes,
I was
yes, it
worried
does.
about expectations and a million and one other things. But I ultimately decided to join VShojo. It really pains me that I am unable to fully explain why I am leaving. But for right now,
Which hopefully within X months to X years we get the truth of what actually is going on behind the scenes and we get to like hear a little bit more about what's going on. But who knows what's going to happen, especially with with VShojo losing that much talent that quickly. Their reputation is done, and not just on Twitch.
here's what I am allowed to share with you. I would always be told how important I was for the company, and I was always told that I was needed in order for the company to succeed. Although that was very positive to hear, it put a lot of pressure and a lot of stress on me to the point where I felt guilt tripped in designing. I felt responsible for everybody.
Really?
I felt responsible for staff and talent alike. And I felt like if I didn't
They
do
were
this,
putting that
and
much
if I
pressure on
didn't
her?
stay, I was hurting everybody and I was destroying everybody's life. But this
Holy
didn't feel right with me,
shit.
and I began to feel extremely uncomfortable. As my viewers know, privacy has always been one of my biggest concerns. I've had a lot of scary experiences in my life, so one amazing thing for me was the fact that VShojo handled all my payments, and it meant that I never had to give out any of my personal information, so that was always a blessing to me. As time went
If you
on,
leave, you join
I
the company
decided
and
that
all of
I
your
wanted to
colleagues.
try
Yeah.
to start pulling out my remaining funds because I wanted to start taking over my own finances. This is what led me to this point. Throughout the years, Connor and I.
And that's you know what? I swear to God, I didn't pre-watch this. That is kind of going towards more of what I was just implying about 2 minutes ago when I was saying that you can't trust these companies. She probably saw the writing on the wall. She probably started having, doubts about am I getting what I'm owed? Am I getting what should actually come to me for whatever the charities that she's doing, or whatever like sponsors she's doing? She saw the writing on the wall and started not wanting to be associated with them and handling everything on her own. That's literally what the talent agency is for. If you can't trust your talent agency to do the one thing that they are there for, that's a problem.
I have raised around $4 million for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. The majority of the money raised is through Tiltify at events like the Cyclothon, the charity auction, and other miscellaneous events that we've had. However, because of the success of my first subathon, I decided to donate half the earnings of my following 2 subathons to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. The first time I tried this, it worked great. Over 200,000 people supported me, and because of that, we raised over $329,350 to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Because the money came from my Twitch revenue instead of a Tiltify link, it required VShojo to make the donation on my behalf. They promptly sent the payment, and the subathon was a huge success, so I decided to do it again the next year. My last subathon was one of the biggest events I've ever done. The support was overwhelming, and I ended up getting over 300,000 subscribers and breaking the all-time sub record. But this also meant that we had raised $515,000 for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. I once again asked VShojo to make the donation on my behalf, but unfortunately, still a year later, VShojo has not paid the charity.
So that's specifically where it's from. So she's talking about would she say the Tiltify or the subscribers donations? That's what she's specifically talking about, the subathon she did. Wow. To know that subathon was over a year ago and that money is still misappropriated, holy, over 1 year of up to $500,000 of funds being missing, that's nuts.
Immune Deficiency Foundation means the world to me. Connor and I have both spent a ton of energy, time, and resources raising money for charity. And we're both so proud to be able to say that we've raised nearly $4 million for charity. We almost always raise money for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. They help people with primary immune deficiency diseases, or PI, which are inherited disorders where a part of the body's immune system is missing or doesn't function properly, which makes people like me more prone to infection. And this includes over 450 different conditions. The Immune Deficiency Foundation is a charity that is near and dear to my heart and has a particular significance in my life. When my health first started getting really bad, the Immune Deficiency Foundation helped me immensely when I really had nowhere else to turn.
Yeah, this sounds like an incredible organization.
I was lonely and I was confused. I honestly didn't really know what was going on, and I never ever want anyone else to go through that. This entire situation has broken me. I just wanted to do something good.
That's so sad, man.
And to give back to a community that helped me. But unfortunately, that's not the case. As much as I would like to continue to talk about this, unfortunately, I can't. So, to recap, I believe that I am owed a significant amount of funds, which I have not been paid. And most importantly, the Immune Deficiency Foundation is owed over $500,000 from VShojo. I really wish that I could tell you more, but right now, I have
We'll
been
eventually
advised
hear
to wait
more.
for legal proceedings. As
Yeah.
of right now, I am an independent VTuber. I am at a loss of
Good
what
for
to do
her.
right now. I'm kind of processing everything. I'm very sad and very confused. Once again, I want to apologize to the Immune Deficiency Foundation and to my community for
Yeah,
showing so
imagine
much
like
support to me.
she probably feels just absolutely awful. Imagine putting on this like this big thing, this big subathon, this big like charity event, raising all this money, feeling absolutely amazing, and thinking that she probably thought for the longest time that the money was either sent or was in the process of being sent, right? Now imagine having to come to terms with the fact that that money that you thought that you raised and went to that company with your like that your name was on, right? Imagine like thinking that, oh, that money didn't get there. Like that feels so bad. I'm ugh.
I also wanted to say that all the ad money made from this video will go towards the Immune Deficiency Foundation. I honestly don't know what
Completionist.
I'm going
Oh
to
yeah.
do. I really, like I said, I really haven't had much time to process this. But below the video in the description box is a link to a donation fund for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Thankfully, any donations made through Tiltify go directly to the charity.
Good.
That link is also there if you've heard about this and would like to support the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Sometime this
Yep.
month, I plan on doing a special live stream in order to raise money for the Immune
Oh hell
Deficiency
yeah.
Foundation.
I will be there,
I
Iron
hope to
Mouse.
have a ton of friends joining me, and hopefully there'll be a lot of singing and a lot of fun and just a day full of happiness.
Good.
I just honestly really want to show that after all of this, that VTubing is a force for good. So thank you
Yep.
guys so much for all the support, and thank you so much for.
So yeah, I mean, obviously, if you guys haven't seen it yet, and you haven't donated, if you are interested in donating, I'm drop the link in chat, to donate if you guys are interested in that. So this apparently goes directly to the company, or directly to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. So I've talked to this before, and I'll say it again. When you are going to donate to a charity, when a charity like sort of organization or charity thing is happening, anytime a third party is involved, even when it comes to donating like directly to Twitch streamers to do it, we saw the same thing happen with Creator Clash, right? Creator Clash at its foundation was meant to be a charity thing that was all the money was going to charity, right? Anytime you get a third party involved when it comes to money that is supposed to be going directly to a company, like a charity, things start getting muddled and money starts getting misappropriated and not going to the places where it needs to be going to. That's why anytime you do want to make a donation, whether it be, obviously people wanted to support Ironmouse during her thing, right? But it is always the safest and best bet to go directly through to the charity itself, as opposed to, go donating through a third party, donating through someone that has like a talent organization, things like that. But so apparently it might even get worse for VShojo. We were linked this pretty recently from Shibuya Kaho. So for those who wonder where Shibuya, she is a relatively big content creator that has a lot of ties with people like Dog, who is very close to Ironmouse. So she has a lot of like know within the industry. I haven't read this tweet yet, so we'll be reading it live with you guys. This person moved from a noted VTuber company to another as a staff last year, bragging about his new income. He thrust at me a few of his new business cards to give to my good contacts. I found the action obnoxiously rude, but maybe he's too young and friendly, no better. Then the MF wanted to meet up for tax advice. Because I'm a native in Japan, I hired an accountant. I was asked to have dinner in his area, which was quite far from me splitting the bill. That day I got convinced I didn't like the guy, yet I loved the talents he worked with. I was only secretly hoping he would lose his job one day. I recently heard from another creator that he was showing photos of VTubers' real selves while revealing their personal info like marital statue. I now find a way to warn other employees. Today I've learned the most despicable shit from the company that's done to their talent. Don't know if he's involved with it yet. All my personal grudge is nothing compared to such betrayal. Sometimes, unfortunately, oh god, water went down the wrong tube. Yo, Don, thank you for the 5 subs. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Unfortunately, managers or talent agencies can be the worst enemy. People always support the talent. Talent first. Yeah, exactly. This is very interesting. I am a little... I do agree with this tweet about how there was no... Like, she hasn't talked about this before. This is very interesting to me. If you knew about this guy, why didn't you speak up earlier? Everything is dangerous. Just came back from the US where I gathered the info that he was still with the company. I was actually meeting up with someone who's been working with him in Japan this week. I'll give this story I heard from someone else. I thought it's best to do this in person. Okay, interesting. It's always so weird. Why don't people... Yeah. I do not like how she's coming out with this, like, if she knew about this before. And she's only coming out with it to sort of, like, have, like, another, like, sort of gotcha moment. But regardless, she's very clearly... she's very clearly talking about VShojo. So, we don't know what the person's role there is at VShojo. It sounds like it was a manager of some sort. That's what I'm getting from it. So apparently a manager of allegedly VShojo, obviously we don't have any direct information or direct confirmation of that, was basically doxing, right? Was basically doxing the talent over at VShojo. Definitely very, very sad. Very interesting stuff going on over there. I wouldn't be surprised if more and more news starts to come out from this about how, you know, VShojo staff are basically, you know, being weird. Why is there music? We got some subs and they're delayed. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if more and more more and more stuff happens with this, especially because the Gun Runs, who actually owns VShojo, he founded VShojo back in I think 2020, so Gun Run, from my understanding, has been a pretty nice guy. He was with the Twitch early scene. He was kind of like a small time streamer himself before he founded VShojo. So from my understanding, again, he was actually like a pretty nice guy. So I don't know if we can directly put blame on him. It's very hard for me personally to put blame on a CEO for the day-to-day operations of what's going on with like their talent, right? Obviously, ultimately, the blame does stop with him. It stops and ends with him as the CEO and as the face of the company. But to insinuate he had any direct involvement or direct like reasoning or direct like line of like why this stuff happened with Ironmouse or other talent, it is probably more likely than not that this was like a pretty big middle management issue where middle managers were either just stealing, skimming off of the top, or just not giving a shit about their talent. Who knows for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being the case. He's directly responsible for his company. Yeah, no, I completely understand. Like I said, the buck stops and ends with him as a CEO. But again, I doubt his hands were directly in the cookie jar, right? But yeah, definitely a very sad situation. I'm very curious to see what happens with it throughout the next, couple months to couple years, because obviously we probably won't get any information about this as legal proceedings start going through and things like that, but who knows? We'll see. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and as always, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell for all notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.